Yes, indeed. We're back another week of the Kirby on Sports podcast, episode 211. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of stuff to dive into in regard to the last week in NFL football. It's going to be a blast. So stick right here with us as we take you on an adventure. Episode 211 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Let's get it up for episode 211 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. I am your gracious host, Josh Kirby. So glad that you are with us for another episode of the Kirby on Sports podcast, whether that's on all streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or you're checking us out on YouTube. You can also find us at kirbyonsports.com. A huge thanks to all of our sponsors for making the Kirby on Sports podcast possible. PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Transformative Alignment Group, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Shenandoah Music, and the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast, Don't Sleep Energy. Use promo code KOS Podcast for 12% off your order every single time. Without further ado, the crew is with me once again. Let's bring in the weapon, Dan Dembski. What's going on, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. It was a good week for my football teams there, both of them. So yeah, you can't complain when your teams take care of business. So, but all is well, man. All is well. Just hanging in there.
I am right there with you. And welcoming in once again, the two-time gentleman who adds all the mojo to the Kirby on Sports podcast, Mr. Carlos Martinez.
You can say it, boys. Finally, the Swiss Army knife has come back to the podcast.
How are you, Carlos?
So good.
Electrifying, as always.
That's great. I'm glad to see you all,
The
as
best
always.
in sports entertainment, Carlos Martinez.
Damn right.
Yeah. So, yeah, your just overall thoughts, NFL week. Was it good? Was it exciting? I know the bunker was in full effect on Monday night as well. So, yeah. Any opening remarks about the NFL week in general?
Not really. Honestly, this week was kind of boring to me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers sucks, but I mean,
that's not news.
It feels like there's more and more throwaway games every week. I know that there weren't a lot this week, but I don't know. It just seems that way. Like they're just games you're just like, this was not even entertaining at all. So, sorry, I'm coughing now. But yeah, that's kind of my overall thought. I thought there were some great games, and we're going to talk about those. But there were some duds as well, and I think there's been more of those this year than I can remember in years past.
Well, with that being said, are we ready to get this show on the road, ladies and gentlemen? We start off with our slate of games. I was in attendance, Kirby on Sports, as the Washington Commanders defeated the Carolina Panthers 40-7. The energy there, the game started off really good. Obviously, Dante Fowler with the pick six from Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, prayers up to him. Apparently, he was involved in an automobile accident. Seems to be doing fine, though, but still thoughts and prayers out to him. But regardless, a lot of energy, and then Jayden Daniels goes out with that Marcus Mariota in place for the Commanders. He has a decent showing, 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. But again, the Panthers just straight up suck, guys. It was such an easy, relaxed, stress-free football game to watch, in my opinion. And the Commanders did some really good things out there. Brian Robinson back 71 yards and a touchdown. He looked good as well. McLaurin got in there, made some catches. Zach Ertz had a touchdown catch. Olamide Zaccheaus looked good. So Commanders, offensively, they looked really good. Defensively, giving up some stuff the Panthers were throwing at them. But overall, it was a good win. Marcus Mariota, I think, handled things well. The main concern, hopefully, Jayden Daniels is healthy. And once he is, he will be able to come out and do what he does best. But I just hate to see Jayden Daniels go out. I was really looking forward to him playing a lot, and he was only there one series, unfortunately. And I didn't really see what happened, to be honest. So when I saw Mariota come out on the field, I'm like, what in the heck is going on? And I see on Twitter, Daniels throwing his helmet, getting upset, going in the blue tent. But comes out, hypes up the fans, seems like he's involved, engaged, and being a good teammate. And again, I just hate to see Jayden Daniels get down like that. The circumstances, I know that the Commanders have a little bit of cushion with a first place currently in the NFC East, but the main priority here, in my mind, Jayden Daniels needs to get 100% healthy before going back out there, because the next thing the Commanders need is another quarterback controversy or a rushed back to from injury like RG3 back in 2012.
You really got to let that RG3 thing go. Like,
They never
truly.
will.
Like, truly, okay. It's any time a quarterback gets injured. Oh, don't forget about RG3. RG3, let it go, man. That was damn near over 10 years ago.
But he was rushed back.
It's because the owner wanted him
again,
back.
That was
Correct.
12 years ago.
Yeah.
Different code, totally different regime in here.
I know.
Let it go.
I think.
Let it go.
I understand your concern as a fan, right? Your star quarterback, he's probably going to win Rookie of the Year if he keeps this up. He's played at an absurd level, and to see him get hurt with any injury is difficult right now. But they're not going to do anything dumb. They're not going to do anything rash. They're not going to rush him back, which I think everybody thinks about that. Everyone in that front office is thinking the same thing. So it's nothing to worry about, really. Also, the injury doesn't seem that serious anyway, so hopefully not. So hopefully he should be back soon anyway, regardless. So.
Yeah, but again, the Panthers just stink, man.
They're really bad.
I feel like if this was a better team, or I don't know, maybe like I'm trying to think, like this was a better team like the Bengals or something, and Jayden Daniels goes out, I don't think we win that game. But the Panthers just did not.
I don't think you win a game against any good team. Not with that defense.
Yeah, that is true.
Again, let's be honest. It's like I said in our text. You guys haven't beaten anybody. When you guys actually beat somebody, then come talk to me. But you guys haven't beaten anybody. Has Jayden Daniels looked great? Absolutely.
Yes.
But it's been praise in a losing effort. You guys lost to the Ravens. You guys lost to the Buccaneers. Your 2 losses have come to the 2 actual good teams that you played on your schedule. All your wins have been against teams that, frankly, are just not impressive. And I think, and I'm giving you shit for that, sure, right? But I cannot sit here and deny. Oh, excuse my French. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
And I cannot deny that Jayden Daniels has looked fantastic. And it was not great seeing him get hurt and go out. But by all accounts, he's going to be fine. And he is very likely going to play this week, which, again, is a huge matchup against Chicago, the number 1 against the number 2 pick. So I don't really foresee him missing this game. It's just, I think the whole worry about rushing him or whatever. Again, this is that was 12 years ago. Like, you guys got to move on. Like, you guys got to let it go. Like, this is a totally different regime, a totally different staff, totally different injury.
I was about to say, you're comparing apples to oranges with the injury alone.
Yeah, like, we're talking about a completely blown out knee to what looks like it's just a, gut injury or something like that. I don't really actually know what the injury is, but it was definitely in the body, not the leg. So relax, Kirby, relax.
I am trying my best, but I will tell you that place has changed a lot.
Oh my God.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh, I mean, the fans in the stands, it's completely different.
I don't care. I really don't care. You want to know why? Because it's not you guys. Okay, you know what? I'm not being fair here. Go ahead, tell me how it's changed.
I mean, remember when we went? Maybe what was it? When we
went to go see Washington against Kansas City? There was more Kansas City fans than there were Washington fans.
Correct. This time around, I didn't see that.
How many Carolina fans are really out there, though?
I saw.
Let's be real here, Kirby. Let's be real.
In total, like 7?
I mean, I saw maybe walked by a dozen. There was actually a Carolina fan.
How many last season? How many more Bears fans were there than Commanders fans?
A lot more.
It's a lot more.
Okay. Yep. But Chicago has an established fan base everywhere.
Correct.
Carolina does not have that type of fan base that travels.
True.
So I don't think you can really compare that to this.
Yeah. But still, the energy
but I will tell you this. The enthusiasm in your fan base is definitely a lot higher. You guys have a great young quarterback who looks like he's going to be a problem for years to come. It's okay to be excited. Yes.
Yeah.
So and Washington fan base has been
waiting for this moment.
They've been deprived of it. They've had little spurts of it here and there. The Alex Smith year before he got hurt. Then, you guys do make it to the playoffs during the COVID year. And it looks like, by all accounts, things are on the up and up. And then it just completely falls flat. Yeah. The Kirk Cousins year where you guys, I think, went 12-4. I think you guys went. I can't remember. It was a good record, though. And you guys won the division. And I just remember there was a lot of hype going into that playoff run. Obviously there was the RG3 craze, and then he got hurt. So yeah, you guys have been waiting a long time to feel excited again. It's okay to feel excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a but. I feel like there's a but there.
Tamper the expectations a little bit, because
you got to be realistic with your team, because your defense is not good.
Not
the
really.
Secondary is not good. Again,
Jayden Daniels, you guys got cut today too.
You guys beat the Carolina Panthers. Only one team has lost to the Carolina Panthers this season, and I still don't understand how they lost to them.
Worst team in the NFL.
I mean, that would be the Raiders, but
the Panthers are the worst team.
So, you guys have some tough games ahead, and when you guys can actually beat those tough teams, then we can talk. But until then, right now, it's just be excited that you guys are going in the right direction.
It's the right direction, but you're completely right. The defense, they gave up a lot of big plays that Carolina made, but because Carolina is not that good, if you get what I mean there, as Dan had to step out for just a moment, but you're going to hate me for this one, Carlos. They did the wave again.
My thoughts.
Yeah.
I've already had my rant on it.
Yeah.
In fairness, in this game, it was a blowout. So it's fine. You guys are trying to entertain yourselves. I understand.
I will also say, and I'll probably repeat this when Dan gets back too, a class act getting most of the alumni out there. I met a lot of alumni before the game, a lot of legends from back in the day too. And Darryl Green's jersey retirement, top class. Josh Harris came out, gave some words. He said, we should have done this a long time ago. But obviously the culture change, new ownership getting put in place. But the way his jersey retirement went was absolutely incredible. A lot better than Sean Taylor's. And I'm glad we were there to see Sean Taylor's against the Chiefs. But the alumni homecoming sprinkled in with Darryl Green's retirement, jersey retirement, it was a great, great ceremony for sure. And I'm really glad I was able to witness it too, because as you see, and I'll put it out as I'm dropping everything, a cool story. My grandparents had this. This is a limited edition Darryl Green.
Racist.
Yeah, okay. For Darryl Green, I'll take the heat. For Darryl Green, I'll take the heat. But see, it's a limited edition, and these were some good throwbacks. And it had a Darryl Green patch right here, and then the 70th year patch as well. I think this was one of Darryl Green's last seasons in the NFL. But regardless, I saw a lot of people that had it. So that was a really popular jersey back in the day. And a cool story behind it too. Every time I go to my grandparents' house, I look in their closet and they have that. I'm like, that's a really cool jersey. And, that's back when I was a kid. And you know how we were as kids. We focus on something like, I really want that. I really, really want that. And then when you grow older, it's like, whatever, it's like you forget about it in a sense. So one Christmas, a while ago, maybe, I don't even know. I was like 21, 22, 23. I just get it as a Christmas gift one year, and it's just been hanging up. It's at this point, it might be valuable. I don't know, but I just hang up in my closet, have it as a memory, and I wore it for his jersey retirement. So that was really cool to do too.
Dope.
As I am picking up what I dropped on the ground, but again, it was really great for that to see that as well. But other than that, that's about all I have. Commanders, again, I echo some of your points, Carlos, the fact that they haven't been able to perform against a good team, which the Commanders, hopefully, if they change stuff up, but defensively, I'm not really sure the direction they're looking after losing Jamin Davis. They cut Jamin Davis. So I don't know.
Can't get much worse, but
yeah, but another first round pick down the drains, essentially. But Dan, you missed the story. I'm not sure if you heard the story, but Darryl Green, I had the jersey, the limited edition. This was a very, very sought after jersey back in the day, from what I know.
I remember.
Yeah. So yeah, I know. And I had it in my grandparents. No, my grandparents had it in their closet. Every time I go over there, I'd be like, that is a cool jersey all the time. And I was like, I really want that. And when you're a kid, you're like, I really want that. And then it just fades away. It's like, well, you just forget about it. One day in my early 20s, they just wrapped it up and gave it to me for Christmas. And I never did anything with it. I just hung it up in my closet and I cracked it open for his jersey retirement. So it's pretty special to see that too.
How about that, man? That's pretty cool.
Oh, I'll give you something cool too. Guess who else was there?
Former player.
I mean, you did say all the alumni were there, so
there's somebody else. There's somebody else too. You probably would not believe it.
Dougie P.
Nope. Tony Dorsett.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. I actually shook his hand. It
really?
Was pretty cool. He looked pretty good too. aging, obviously, but he looked pretty good. I was like, wow, Tony Dorsett. I mean, obviously, back in the day, the then Redskins fans hated Cowboys fans, but to see what Tony Dorsett did back in the day, you can't not respect what he did in the National Football League. So it was just pretty cool to see that. I mean, he was busy. He walked by the fans. I just shook his hand. I'm like, Mr. Dorsett, pleasure. I hope you're doing well. And
Would you give him a card?
Business card? Yeah.
no, I did not actually.
You should listen to my podcast.
Hey, I have a big Cowboys fan on the show.
No.
Former big
No.
Cowboys fan.
No.
No, I did
mas,
not give
no
him
mas.
a card though. But anyways,
That's
it
good,
was
though. That's cool.
it was a fun adventure. Fans really have a lot of energy. It's different, but still, Carlos made some good points there.
I always make good points.
Absolutely.
Usually.
Anything to add, Dan, to this game?
No, I think it's cool that the franchise is finally doing these types of things. It's been a long time coming, and a lot of these guys. Yeah, we're not celebrated properly. We all know what happened with Sean Taylor's original statue, so I know they're gonna make a new one.
Freaking off.
Finally.
The old statue's been torn down already.
Good.
Torn down, you mean picked up by a bigger clothes hanger. So,
Just like I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but
it's about
again,
time
it's
this
an
franchise
incompetent owner
starts.
back then.
Didn't we
Starts to
all
do
see
things
that
right.
statue together?
We all saw it. Yeah.
We didn't see the statue, but we saw them retire his jersey. They didn't have the statue yet. They announced that they were going to bring a statue.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
we were
That's
all
true.
thinking that it was going to be something like
A
what
real
Baltimore
statue.
has outside of their stadium, like the one of Johnny Unitas, and I'm pretty sure there's a Ray Lewis one out there.
Ray Lewis. Yep.
You know, like an actual like statue. And no, they brought out some weird, I don't know, contemporary art style statue. And it's just like this
Dick's
does
Sporting
not.
Goods mannequin. Yeah.
This
it was
this
bad.
does not. And then they didn't even use like an actual jersey. They use a Nike jersey that he
Yeah.
never wore.
Yeah.
So it was just like it wasn't his actual uniform. It was a bad time.
Yeah.
It's good this franchise has started to respect and honor the players that played for this team.
Well, like I
for
said, it's because they
years
got a
and years.
competent owner now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who respects it. So
That
that's
helps.
good. That's good to see. And this is a nice win for the Commanders. I know it's the Panthers, but it's hard to blow anybody out in the NFL. I mean, it just is. So, but like Carlos said, slow your roll. The schedule gets a little harder. The schedule gets pretty tough actually. So
Still got 2 games against the Eagles. And as much as
Eagles
I
are
hate
gonna
to
be
say it, you still got 2 games against the Cowboys.
that's right. You
Yeah.
just don't know, man. But
You don't know.
but
the
enjoy it.
division.
Enjoy the wins, but don't get too cocky now. Just that's all I'll say.
No, I try to be as
Just remember, you're still little bro. You're still little bro. You're still little bro. You ain't up here with the big dogs. You ain't up here with the Chiefs and the Ravens. You ain't up
Right.
here. You still
Right.
down here. Know your
Mhm.
place.
It's got a ways to go.
Still in the Kirby zone.
You know your plate. Well, what was
Right.
Travis Kelce's line?
Shut your mouth and know your
Nothing,
role.
Know your role.
know your place. Shut your mouth and know your place. But
There's know your
anyways,
role. What the hell are you saying? Know your place.
know your role.
God.
All
He doesn't
right.
know old school. He doesn't know old school wrestling. It's fine.
The Commanders defeat the Panthers. We are going to take a short break. Then we talk about a very exciting matchup in Santa Clara as the Chiefs faced the 49ers and got the victory. We'll be right back. For sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals, when you need a reserve study, PM Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com. Once again, that's www.shenandoahprimitives.com. And we welcome you back to the Kirby on Sports podcast. I am Josh Kirby, alongside the weapon Dan Dembski, the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez, as we get into our next matchup as the Kansas City Chiefs improved to 6-0, defeating the San Francisco 49ers 28-18. And I'll just say the stat lines were not the best for either quarterbacks. But again, the Chiefs doing what championship caliber football teams do, finding the way to win because they know how to do that. Am I on the right track there, Carlos?
Yeah, you are. I mean, look, I mean, you're not wrong. It was definitely not a good. The stats do not paint a pretty picture on either Patrick Mahomes or Brock Purdy. Patrick Mahomes has honestly not played great this year. 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, I believe is what he's at right now. But the difference being is that even though Mahomes is having not the best game, he's still going to make the plays that are going to win the game. And again, you can't give him all the credit because at the same time, it's also this stout defense that's just, it's just, they're just unbreakable, man. Like they bend, but they don't break. And it's just crazy how good they are and how in his bag Steve Spagnuolo is. Like he just knows when's the right time to bring the blitz, when's the right time to not bring the blitz, and when, and then these guys they just play as one unit, and it's crazy. The talk of this being like a big game. It was a big game for San Francisco. I don't think it was that big of a deal for Kansas City because Kansas City going into the game was 4-0 against them. Had obviously 2 of those wins came in the Super Bowl, and both of those Super Bowls, Kansas City had to basically make a comeback. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really tough season for the 49ers. They're now 3-4. Brock Purdy, I mean, the stats don't lie. When doesn't have the full cast of Avengers, he does struggle. But the crazy thing is that like he has been playing well this season, but you saw now that he lost literally every single one of the Avengers. Debo was sick with a pneumonia-like illness. Obviously Ayuk, we wish him a speedy recovery. Nasty injury towards ACL. He's going to be out for the year. And of course, Christian McCaffrey hasn't played all year. The only guy he had was George Kittle, and Kittle was effective, but he wasn't game changing. But you saw that, like, without them, these other young cats aren't good enough, and they're not good at making plays. And Purdy isn't a Mahomes type of quarterback. Purdy's a good quarterback, and I'm not denying that at all. You can't take away from what he has done and the success he's had. But I really think this is going to be a very tough season for the 49ers. I think they're the team that's going to have the year from hell. They've been playing a lot of football, and this is not a durable team. They have dealt with injury problems, and I think it's really catching up to them. And I don't think they're going to be that. Their run of dominance, I think, might be over. But in terms of getting it back to the Chiefs, yeah, I think this game also proves more than ever, because it was the same situation with the Kansas City Chiefs. We're missing our top 3 guys now. We're missing Hollywood Brown, hasn't even played this season. We obviously know Rashee Rice is probably gone for the year and might be gone longer depending on what happens with the whole legal stuff. And then Juju Smith-Schuster does tweaks his hamstring and is basically out for the rest of the game. And we're rocking with, Xavier Worthy, Noah Gray, and Sky Moore, who, God, I don't know why he's still on this team. He's just so ineffective. He can't make plays. I mean, and he did his best to try to sell that he caught that one ball. And I thought, oh my God, he actually caught it. And then it turns out, no, he just does what he normally does and drops it. This kid just does not have it. But I think this proves more than ever the Kansas City Chiefs need to make a move. I'm not saying they need to go out there and get, they need to go get Tyreek. Like, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think the Chiefs would be willing to give up that type of capital that the Dolphins would demand. And also with Tua coming back, I think things are going to pick back up there in Miami, and I don't think there's going to be really much talk of Tyreek wanting to leave. I think they need to go get a guy like, maybe at an Amari Cooper level. Like, I don't think they want a guy who is going to be here for a little bit. They don't want a 30-plus-year-old wide receiver. That's why I don't think Devontae Adams was really an option. On top of that, I don't think the Raiders were ever going to trade him to Kansas City. The Raiders hate the Chiefs, and why would you want to trade him in division? But a guy on the Amari Cooper level, a Hopkins type guy, or I'm trying to think of another wide receiver that they could probably go out and get. I know there was a lot of talk today for some reason about the Chiefs calling about Cooper Kupp, which I'm like, I don't know if that one makes sense, because Cooper Kupp is very injury prone. So it's not a guy I would want to bring in. I would want a guy who's more, who's a lot younger and who'll be here for the long haul. Because again, like I said, Rashee Rice, we don't know what's going to happen with him. We obviously know he's going to be out for the year to, heal up his knee, but then we do still got to deal with those legal issues. So he might be suspended all next season too. So we might not see him for another 2 years. With that being said, that's what Kansas City is looking at. But another guy that needs to be shout out is Kareem Hunt. Has really done well to fill that void that Isaiah Pacheco left when he got hurt. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to make it work between the two of them, or if they even bring Pacheco back immediately as soon as he's cleared to return. Maybe they let him, sit out and let Kareem Hunt take the bulk of the carries until the playoffs. And then we bring him back maybe towards the very end of the season, let him start getting going a little bit. And then that way we have a two-headed monster going into the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes needs to clean things up. He really does. And I understand it's tough, given all the injuries, but man, I still don't understand how you can have 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and still be in second place to win the MVP, like in odds to win the MVP. It makes no sense to me. He's going to turn it around. Look, I have no doubts about it. Some of the interceptions were kind of freak interceptions, but interceptions nonetheless. But Travis Kelce, man, he's got to get more involved again. And I feel like he still doesn't have a touchdown this season, which is crazy that we're going into week 8. We're about almost halfway done with the season and he still hasn't found the end zone yet, and has had maybe one goodish game. But you do see, when you really watch the film, you do see how he affects the game in other ways. Like, maybe he's not getting the production numbers, but he is a magnet and people are following him, and that's opening Noah Gray. That's opening Xavier Worthy. And I think there's really no notes on the defense aside from, damn, Nazi, way to represent for us. You You really gotta. He has got to step up, because it looks like he's going to be starting for the next few weeks. But yeah, I mean, I think he'll rebound fine. I think Spagnuolo is going to get on him about that. They're going to watch some film. It's tough to go into that situation when you're not really used to being the starter. So he's going to get a lot of starter reps this week in practice. And, we're playing the Raiders next. There's nobody really there that scares us anymore. I think I think the Chiefs the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and we know they're going to turn it on in the playoffs. And they're 6-0, man. Their offense is playing, mid-tier, and they're 6-0. So
is it funny? Is it funny how bad the stats look in this game, but the Chiefs still won?
No, because that's what we do.
I mean, it's just crazy to me because this is why the Chiefs are in such a high caliber. They're not like the other teams. Teams with stats like this, usually in the NFL, lose.
Yeah, because they don't have the Michael Jordan of the NFL. They don't have a guy who's going. I mean, again, sure, he did. His passing stats weren't great, but what did he do? He makes a couple great runs, and one where he trucks a guy who was lighting people up all game. I mean, he just has this way to will his team to win and to make when it matters most, he's going to make the plays. And that's why while he is playing like crap, he's still the guy. Like, he's still the best quarterback because he's still winning. Like, and it's just crazy. And this defense is just so elite, and I really don't see any team really like beating us as long as this defense has us in the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the defense has stepped up big time in ways. I mean, not perfect, obviously, but still, they're looking very stout. And again, we all know the phrase defense wins championships. So,
well, that's why we won our championship last year, because the defense
absolutely
really stepped up. Again, Kansas City has been known for their offense for so long, and they're still, for some reason, still known as an offensive team because we're so used to that. But they haven't been an offensive team for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, last year it was literally our defense that took us to that championship, and that basically won us a championship as well. Sure, about Mahomes Mahomes in the offense got a lot better after the nightmare, the nightmare of Christmas, when we lost to the Raiders and looked absolutely terrible. We've been 12-0 since then, and the offense went on a run, after that. But, this season so far, we haven't necessarily looked the best, and Mahomes is struggling with his deep ball. I like to think that Valdez, MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling kind of messed him up on that one. But he's going to figure that out eventually. Look, it's in time, and it's a rookie, Xavier Worthy's a rookie. He's going to eventually figure out how Mahomes wants him to run routes.
Yeah.
And they'll get that situated. And I'm positive that they're going to make some kind of move. Before the trade deadline, they're going to make a move. They're going to hopefully bring somebody in. It might not be a big name guy, in terms of like a Devontae Adams or a Cooper Kupp, but it's going to be a guy that is going to be productive. And then we are expected to get Hollywood Brown back for the playoffs. So there's help on the way, and the Chiefs are 6-0. They literally can go 500 from here on out, and they'll make the playoffs. So let's, they are still the team. They are still the cream of the crop in the NFL.
I agree. I think you touched on all the points there, and I think the Chiefs, if they can make some adjustments, make some moves before free agency, maybe that might be the way to go. I don't really know, but I know Andy Reid and the coaching staff, they know how to get things done, and they will get it done.
Yep. because that's what champions do, baby. Three-peat is still loading.
Well, anyways, unfortunately, Dan had to step out the rest of the show, wishing him well. But we will take a quick break, and when we return, we will talk about the Monday night game, the Ravens' victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We will be right back.
Bedbugs. The only thing creepier than thinking about them is actually having them. Trust me, you don't want to have them. Locally owned and operated Barrett Pest and Termite Services can keep you from having bedbug nightmares and infestations. Call 540-340-3922 to schedule your free inspection and consultation. If bedbugs are already in your home, we'll get rid of them so you can rest easy. We also specialize in keeping homes and businesses free of other pests, including rodents and termites. That's Barrett Pest and Termite Services, 540-340-3922.
Hey there, Kirby on Sports Podcast fans. Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate here for you. Remember, if you have any real estate needs, buying or selling, I'm your guy. I would love to help you out. And you can also find me on my own personal podcast, Iconic Talk, where you get a chance to learn about the local real estate market and why Winchester is an amazing place to live. Reach out to me anytime, 540-247-1527, and find Iconic Talk anywhere you get your podcasts.
And we welcome you back to the Kirby on Sports podcast, episode 211. Dan is not with us. He had to step out for the rest of the evening, but I do have Carlos, the Swiss Army Knife Martinez, with me in a game we will talk about without Dan, unfortunately. But Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, looking very good in a 41-31 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but Tampa Bay losing Chris Godwin for the year. Terrible injury. Mike Evans out. Hamstring. Looks like he's out only a couple weeks, but a tough game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that is for sure.
Yeah, look, it's tough. The Godwin injury is tough because, initially your reaction is, why are you guys even out there right now? Like this game was pretty much over. But then when you really think about it, they're only down by 10 at that point. They had already recovered an onside kick, and this Ravens defense wasn't really stopping them. So especially once Humphrey went out of the game, there was just, this Ravens secondary this Ravens defense just is not the same defense as it was last year, and the stats prove it. But in terms of the Godwin injury, look, it's unfortunate. It sucks, because it felt unnecessary, right? It felt like it was an injury that could have been avoided, but at the same time, when you really think about it, they were still in the game and they were only down 10 points. They just needed to get a field goal and a touchdown, and they could have done that easily in the time that they had left. So with that being said, Lamar Jackson looked incredible in this game, and that Ravens offense looked very good. They were cooking. I can't deny that. But are they the best team in the NFL? I would say not, because again, their defense is super suspect. When you look at the stats compared to last year, that Ravens defense from last year was elite. They were in the top 5 in every defensive category, pretty much. This year, they're pretty much in the bottom 5 of every defensive category. There was a graphic that they put up on First Things First today, showing that like last year they were like, it was like 2, 3, 1, for last year's defense, and then this year's defense, it was like 29, 30, 27. It was just crazy. I was like, how the heck did this flip so hard? And especially considering that the Ravens their whole identity has been defense. But it looks like that has flipped this year, and it looks like we're focusing on the offensive side of the ball this year. And their offense looks great, and I can't deny that Lamar Jackson, is definitely right now is the front runner for the MVP. But we still have a lot of season to go, and we don't know how things are going to play out. But as of right now, the number twos over there, the Baltimore Ravens, they're the greatest number twos that you'll ever see. But we all know who's the real number one. And right now, Lamar's got us in his sights. He's gunning for us. But let's be honest here. We're the only team that knows how to stop them. And we can stop them. And we've already stopped them. But you can't deny this 5-game winning streak that they've been on since starting out 0-2 has been great. They have been extraordinary, and have really turned it on. They're really starting to figure out how to work this Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry combo. I mean, the first half was kind of rough for Derrick Henry, but then the second half he came alive because they started really drawing up the plays for him in terms of going into the I formation. And yeah, and he could fit in any at any team. Any team could have used him. Wink, wink. Back in Jerry Jones. Not to bring it to the Cowboys, but to finish things off, man. Yeah, it's gonna be this game might have changed the trajectory of Tampa Bay season. They're gonna be going without Godwin and Evans for a little bit. Godwin for the rest of the year. Evans for a couple weeks. And it'll be interesting to see how Baker and handle this, because they got some tough games coming up. They got a division game against Atlanta again, and then they have a Monday night matchup against Kansas City coming up here soon as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle this. But I still think, I think if anything, they're gonna at least make a run for the wild card once they get Evans back.
Yeah, I agree. The Ravens are looking good. The winning streak is really helping. I wish we had Dan here to get his thoughts, but
yeah, so I could remind him that they're the greatest number 2 of all time. But we're not
here to defend.
But we are the ones. We are the ones, and we will be the ones forever.
I don't really think I have much to add on that, to be honest.
Yeah, good.
I'll be honest. I did not watch any of the Monday night slate.
That's fine.
I fell asleep. And why was
in all honesty, it was a very the scoreline is more flattering than what it was. Dan said in the group message, it was the reason why I got so close was because garbage time. At that point, the Ravens had kind of checked out. Lamar didn't even finish the game. He had already been pulled. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but regardless, what was I going to say? I don't really have much to add, but the winning streak is helping the Ravens. I think they're turning a corner, but still the defense, it's got to improve.
It's just not their strong suit. And there's not one player they can get that's going to come fix this. They lost a lot of good players last year. And there's also a lot of players that were playing at a very high level last year that this year they aren't playing at a high level. They have regressed back to the mean, and that's why it is so pivotal that when you are at your peak, when you're playing your best and your window is right there, you have to take advantage of it. And I think that's why that loss to the Chiefs is it's holding, in the AFC Championship last year is just really gnawing at a lot of pundits and fans and stuff, because it's if we don't do it this year, and this year we have a pretty good offense, but we have not a great defense. If we don't do it, did we miss our opportunity? Was that the shot? I don't think the Baltimore Ravens window is closed at all. I don't think that. I think that I think they are the threat to the Kansas City Chiefs three-peating. But I don't think they're as big of a threat as they were last year. And last year, had they stuck to their identity and not had that crisis, in that game, I still think they would have beaten the Chiefs. And for some reason, the Chiefs had them beat before they took the field.
Yeah. You nail the head on a nail on the head on that one. But 41-31, the Ravens over the Bucks, Monday Night Football. And we're going to wrap things up right after this short break as we bring you the Kirby on Sports Pick'em.
It's Jason, General Manager at Shenandoah Music, here to tell you all about...
Jay, what are you doing here?
Well, Matt, I'm trying to tell the people about our selection of guitars, basses, keyboards, drum sets.
I know that, but I always do the radio spots.
You get to have all the fun. I want to tell everyone about our huge selection, unbeatable prices, unmatched service, and in-depth knowledge.
Jay, I really don't think now is the time to discuss.
So remember, folks, when you think music, think Shenandoah Music in Winchester.
That's my line.
As we welcome you back, episode 211 of the Kirby on Sports podcast, wrapping things up as always with the Kirby on Sports Pick'em. Here we go for week number 8, Mr. Martinez.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the week 8 Kirby on Sports Pick'ems, brought to you by Anthony's Pizza, home of the Warriors, located in Stephen City, Virginia. Of course, you guys can pick along with us, and if you guys get the highest score, you could win a free, a large cheese pizza?
Large cheese pizza, yes, sir.
Yeah, whatever, terms and conditions apply. So with that being said, a great week for some. For some of us in the Pick'ems, it was a great week. For others, it was an average week. Of course, we now have a tie up top in first place. Me and Dan are tied at 27 and 15. Love to talk that smack that he had a 2-game lead. Guess what? It evaporated in smoke. That's why you don't wait. You don't poke the bear. You don't wake up the Swiss Army knife, because guess what? Now I gots to get you. And now I gots to get you, Dan. And Kirby's in the Kirby zone, but only behind by 1 game, 26 and 16. He's in last place. With that being said, history wise, let me pull that up real quick. I did not have that ready to go once again. That is my fault. My fault.
Correctly.
I'm really not. Yeah. Going
he's
into week,
and he's talking about his game being tied for first place, but yet he doesn't have last year's stats up and ready to go.
Okay, 3-time loser. You can't talk to me. Okay. You can't talk smack when you have it even come in second place in the Pick'ems ever. And we only did the playoffs the first 2 years. Okay, and you still could have won that one. You had a less of an opportunity, less games, and you still came in last place. Anyways, I digress. Okay, so going into week 8 last year, Dan and Kirby were tied at 24 and 18, and I was behind at 23 and 19. So it's kind of reversed a little bit, where Kirby is the one behind by 1 game, and me and Dan are tied 1 game ahead of him. So could the fate be switching, and Kirby's about to go on a magical run right now and is gonna win the Pick'ems and pull a Carlos and win it at the very end? You'll have to tune in to find out. So anyways, with that being said, yes, so me and Dan are tied for first place at 27-15. Kirby is in last place at 26 and 16. The games we will be picking this week are the marquee game of the week: the Chicago Bears against the Washington Commies. We will also be picking the Dallas Cowboys against the San Francisco 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks against the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals against the Eagles, the Dolphins against the Cardinals, and the Falcons against the Bucks. I will go first as your reigning, defending, two-time Pick'ems champion. I will be taking the Chicago Bears over the Washington Commanders. I just think the Bears' offensive weapons are going to be too much for this Commanders defense. I don't trust the secondary at all, and I think they are a little too depleted, and I think Chicago's really getting into its groove. Caleb Williams is starting to find it. It's going to be, I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout by any means, but I'm just saying when it matters most, I think the Bears are going to be able to make the plays that need to be made. It has happened, ladies and gentlemen. Because I have rescinded my fanhood, I am not forced to pick the Dallas Cowboys, and I'll be taking the San Francisco 49ers over the Dallas Cowboys for one reason and one reason only.
My father thinks that's a bad rule, by the way.
I don't care. I don't care. Guess what? Sucks to suck. The rules is the rules. Anyways, now you throw me off. The San Francisco 49ers have owned the Dallas Cowboys, and I believe after that loss to Kansas City, they're going to be pretty pissed, and they're going to put a beat down on the Dallas Cowboys. And just given Jerry Jones's comments, I hope it happens. I really wish this team no success until Jerry gets the hell out of there. I would take the Bills over the Seahawks. I just think the Bills are, especially now with Amari Cooper. Josh Allen's been playing very quietly, very well. He had a terrible game against the Texans. We all know that. It was an awful game. But 17 touchdowns, no interceptions. Very good. And now, again, he has Amari Cooper. I think the Bills are set to be to be a problem again. But yeah, I have been beating the Seahawks. I will take the Bengals over the Eagles. The Eagles look good against the Giants, but it's the Giants. And, it's not impressive. I think it's going to be an offensive shootout. But I think when it comes down to it, Cincinnati's has the better quarterback, and he's going to make the better wide receiver. I think Jamar Chase is better than A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is great. Don't get me wrong. But I think Jamar Chase is much better. And I just think Cincinnati, being with Joe Burrow, are going to make the plays that they need to win this game. So I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals over Philadelphia. I'm going to take Miami over Arizona because Tua's back, baby. Tua's coming back. This offense has looked awful without him. And how Boyle still has a job in this league is beyond me. I saw the stat lines. I saw the meme of how his college stats weren't great. His NFL stats are even worse. Tua is going to get this offense going. By all accounts, he has actually been symptom-free since sustaining the concussion. He didn't really have any symptoms, but out of precaution, they put him on IR, let him rest rest and heal his brain and head. It was the right decision. Do I think he should wear a Guardian cap? Probably. Will he? He said no. He said it's a personal choice. That's his right. We'll see how it goes. So I will take the Dolphins over the Cardinals, and then I'll take the Falcons over the Bucks because I think the Bucks are too depleted after that Monday night game. Also, they played Monday night. Now they got to go to Sunday. It's basically a short week for them. And I just think the Falcons are going to beat them again. And with that, I would normally throw it to our greatest number 2, Dan Dembski, the Ravens of this podcast. But he unfortunately had to step out and won't be back for the rest of the show. So I will announce his picks for him. Dan has decided to go with the Commanders over the Bears. He has also chosen the 49ers over the Cowboys. He picked the Bills over the Seahawks, the Bengals over the Eagles. You guys doubted the Cardinals last week, and now you guys want to go on the Cardinals bandwagon. And you guys are taking the Cardinals over the Dolphins, and he's also choosing the Falcons over the Bucks. And with that, I send it to our founder and CEO and host, Josh Kirby.
Thank you, Carlos. In the Commanders-Bears game, I am contractually obligated to pick the Washington Commanders, so I will be picking the Commanders. I think the Dallas Cowboys win against the 49ers. I think history does not repeat itself. I think Dallas is a little bit upset about how last week's game against Detroit went. I'm picking the Cowboys. I think the Bills win over this. I can't speak today. I'm picking the Bills to beat the Seahawks. I think the Bills have, I just think the Bills have what it takes to defeat the Seahawks. I think this could be a close game, though. Just in my mind, the way the Seahawks have been playing, I know the Falcons, they played well against the Falcons, but still, I think this could be a close game regardless. A shootout, I will agree with between the Eagles and the Bengals. I'm picking the Eagles, though. And the Cardinals, I'll take them over the Dolphins. And then the Buccaneers, I think they're going to be really upset that they didn't win this game against Baltimore last week. Although they are depleted, I know I know what I've seen from Tampa Bay, and I'm sticking with Tampa Bay. And if Atlanta beats them again, I will take that. But those are my picks. Week number 8, the Kirby on Sports Pick'em. If you pick with us, as we post this on Facebook, get most of them right or all of them right, you win a free large cheese pizza from Anthony's Pizza, home of the Warrior. And with that, that about wraps up episode 211 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Any final thoughts, my friend?
You're about to implode in this pick'ems.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
I really think you made a big mistake on these pick'ems.
Oh, thank you so much.
But I could be wrong.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. This is the Kirby Zone. This is about the time when you implode. So it's been coming. It's been coming.
For our sponsors, PM Plus Reserve, Shenandoah Primitives, Transformative Alignment Group, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, Shenandoah Music, and the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast, Don't Sleep Energy. Find us, www.kirbyonsports.com, all streaming platforms, all listening platforms. As always, for the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez, Dan Debsky, who was on earlier, wishing him all the best. I'm your host, Josh Kirby. Thanks so much for tuning in once again to episode 211 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. As always, remember to create greatness, and we will say so long and peace out.